What's going on, guys? My name is Logan with West Desert Wheeler. Over the past few days, I've not been feeling so great, but don't worry, it's not coronavirus. It's that vintage sick where it's just plain old cough or whatever the hell it was. It wasn't fun, but I took that time and I built a new truck. Of course, it is the Vanquish VS4-10 Phoenix. This is the twin VFD transmission. I went ahead and slapped on some fresh method wheels directly from Vanquish, as well as some BFG crawler in the Predator compound. Let's throw this thing out on the rocks and see how she does. Real quick, just want to talk about the controller setup I'm using. I went ahead and put the 3-position switch on the front overdrive. That way I could try and catch the middle ground where there's rear-wheel drive only. I believe down is actually the overdrive and forward is the standard 6% overdrive. And then just a momentary switch for dig, so click on, click off, and it will lock the rears. I don't have another 3-position switch to get that to freewheel, so just going to be locked and dig or 4-wheel drive. And then of course the overdrive, hopefully we'll be able to do some rear-wheel drive only on this thing, because that's one of the features I'm really looking forward to. Another quick thing right here, this is a Joe Ropes. I actually went wheeling with the guys from Joe Ropes as they came through Utah. Great bunch of dudes. Now that I've actually got one on my controller, I'm a big fan of this thing. You just throw this around your neck, it's a lanyard, and then you can let go of your controller to grab your phone to take a picture, or grab my GoPro or whatever you got going on, grab a tool for the truck. But this little Joe Rope's actually pretty convenient and I really like it. And real quick, before we set it in the dirt, I want you guys to realize this is the first time this truck has touched dirt, which is why it looks so damn good. My paint job turned out pretty dang awesome, if I do say so myself. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Sunroof, full interior, painted the interior as well, did some white highlights on the seats, Vanquish logos, got it all stickered up, and looking forward to driving this thing. So here we go, first time in the dirt. All right, let's go see where we get our first scratch. All right, guys, first impressions just cruising over to these rocks is it's actually a very quiet truck. It just kind of hums along. It's nice and quiet. I'm liking it so far. It looks very smooth. Like I say, we've got it in the 6% overdrive function right now. So maybe if we bumped it up to the higher overdrive percentage, it would pull that front end around a little faster. There we go, she's gonna get it. So these trucks have portal axles, which is not new from Vanquish. However, they are plastic housings, which is new. Vanquish typically does full metal axles, which is really cool. But for this truck to save on price, which actually makes these trucks very affordable compared to some of their other product line, this is their entry-level RC. And I can tell you what, for this being their entry-level RC, it is pretty dang awesome. So right here, let's go ahead and try out our dig function. So channel 3, got it right there. I think I was a little late on that, so I'll grab 4-wheel drive and back up. There we go. Dig's locked in, front end's pulling us where we need it. Back into 4, even under strain. And let's see if we can get the rear only. So it's in rear only right now, supposedly. Uh-oh, we're running out of hands here. Now we're back in front only. This was part of my competition course, and this obstacle specifically, a lot of people had to take a backup on. So I'm trying to see if using the special features on this truck, I can get her to settle down and just get through it without needing to do the reverse. And I can tell you right there, that's the line I needed. Oh, real close to flipping over right there. Tire way up in the air. Just relaxing the suspension a little bit, going into dig, settled it right back down, and there she goes. Not too bad. So right away, really, that's the first obstacle I ever put it on, and using those options there really helped us out. I was able to push the rear end down where I needed to, and then use the dig to pull the front end around where I wanted. So far I'm liking how this truck's, at least just the options of front wheel drive only, rear wheel drive only, locked rears, freewheel front. It's a pretty cool combo, and this is absolutely why I wanted to pick up the Vanquish Phoenix with the VFD twin transmission. These wheels are looking good. I'm really liking this truck so far. Let's we can lock the rears up and then just drag them on down this steep decline. And then give us four-wheel drive again and roll out. Just tipped it off camera trying to get up this. That first scratch always hurts, but you know what? We're gonna get over it and keep on wheeling. So right here, I'm trying to drive up this with the standard 6% overdrive, and then I'm gonna grab the extra overdrive and see if it makes a difference in trying to get over this hill. So we kind of just run out of traction here. Bottom left's real loaded up. It's really fighting to, but it's just not quite giving us the traction we want. So here we go, let's grab. Now we're in a ton of overdrive mode. I think it's like 33%, something like that, which is a great option that like you don't have to use 6% all the time, and then you don't have to use 33% all the time. So overdrive puts a lot of strain on the electronics of the truck. And having the extra added overdrive is perfect for a climb like this because it pulls the front end up and over the hill, which really helps get you up and over obstacles. However, it heats up your electronics and can ruin stuff. So being able to select which one you need for the exact moment you need it is really awesome. So we're gonna back out of this real quick. But I don't think that overdrive is gonna get us over this particular obstacle, but man, there's a lot of overdrive going on. You can see those front tires spinning and slipping as we go, rotating much faster than the rears. And then we can go right back to trailing mode. Basically standard four-wheel drive. Let's see if we can get her up and around here. And like I said, this is my first trip with this truck, so I really have no expectations of what this should or shouldn't do. You just lose that back right and you're not gonna make it up that. Let's find something else. So something I'm kind of surprised by on this truck is actually it doesn't articulate all that much, like especially compared to Element or Axial. Like it doesn't flex as much as those do, which surprises me. I would think that it would at least have the same amount of articulation. Now I agree with some people out there saying that like too much flex is too much flex, but this can't even do a 4.75 amount of flex, so that's a little bit interesting to me. You're probably like 4.5 inches of articulation, something like that. Now you could probably add longer shocks and maybe pick up a little bit there, but I don't know, we'll have to experiment with that later. For now, we're just running it in the almost stock form. I just wanted to throw on some aftermarket wheels and tires pretty much for the look, but I always like having metal wheels on most of my trucks. So these trucks come as kits from Vanquish, and you have to build the whole thing, every little piece, part by part. They give you a manual to do it with. And it was pretty fun to build. However, I will say there was a few times where I had some head scratchers. One of them being the transmission. I got one of the 23 tooth gears in the wrong place. So then I had to tear the whole thing apart after I thought I was done and then put it all back together. And then I saw that I had an extra 10mm pin, which is like one of the little drive pins that goes in the wheel hexes. And I thought that I had missed it in the transmission. And so after like tearing the transmission down a second time, trying to figure out what the hell was going on. Turns out it's just a spare part. So I was a little confused there. I was thinking that I had missed something. However, it was just a spare, which spares are great, but when you think that you're missing something, it can really cause a headache. So I tore the transmission apart twice, which was not my favorite thing to do. But you know what? We got it done, and here's the truck now. If I need to complain about something else with this bad boy, it would be the wheel hubs and trying to get other wheels and tires to fit this truck. So right now, I bought this truck from Sky RC. I bought the wheels from Sky RC at the same time, and I took them home and realized, hey, I don't have any hubs for these. And then the wheel hexes on this truck, because it's got larger axle shafts coming out, the hexes are different than any other truck that I have. And then I didn't have any hubs for the wheels, so I had to like kind of redneck it with the plastic hubs that come in the kit, which weren't quite the right bolt pattern, but I kind of got them to squeeze in there. It was kind of a pain in the ass, so wasn't real happy with how that turned out, but oh well. We're out here on the rocks now, and it's kind of hard to be complaining about stuff like that right now. Sorry, I'm really trying to work this one, trying to get this truck up and out of this V-notch. We'll just take a reset. This is actually pretty close to where I had a gate set up in my competition. So if you guys recognize it, that's where it's from. And if you don't, you should go check out the video where I run my comp courses for the fall crawl. There we go. Walked it, no problem. All about wheel placement. All right guys, here's something where I think a crazy amount of overdrive would be a benefit, is when you're pushing into a ledge like this, having that front tire spin a little bit faster to help pull it right up that ledge. And then once it's up top, it's gonna pull the truck over the top and then drag the rears over. So you can see, oh, getting a little spicy. Got to learn the center of gravity on this truck. So a little bit of torque twist there, that's all right. These are pretty wild angles. I'm pushing this truck pretty good right here. Okay, it's starting to torque twist, so let's see if we can use dig to settle it down. And then there's that amount of overdrive to drag that rear up and over. Just drag it across the belly, which I am really impressed with how smooth the bottom side of this truck is. Vanquish does a great job at making their sliders and their skid plate actually smooth. So big thumbs up for that, guys. That was pretty sweet. That was a good climb. Back into 6% and go trailing around. So when looking at these axles, these are very similar in style to the Capra axles. However, they are not as wide. They're more of a traditional width for a 10th scale truck. The Capras are a little bit wider than most axles are. But this last year, I've been competing in rock crawling with the guys like Jesse Haynes, who actually builds the portals. And it's interesting that Vanquish put a little bit of a truss under the bottom side of the C there to add a little more strength. That's something you'll see the real rock crawlers do as well. So it's really interesting because some guys do and some guys don't. Like Caleb Redden actually uses tube to reinforce that area of the C so that it doesn't shear off the axle tube. And then I think Jesse just runs standard plating under there. So kind of cool to see Vanquish throw their spin on the portal axle there. Try not to fall over. Cool to see Vanquish throw their spin on the portal axle there, and I like the added strength. Building these things, these axles seem super tough, which is no surprise because Vanquish builds really tough trucks. Like those axle shafts I was complaining about earlier, ultimately they're a 6mm shaft and they're really damn tough, so it's going to be sweet to have those. They're going to be very resistant to braking or bending, which is always appreciated out on terrain like this. Something I have failed to mention here is what electronics I'm running in this truck. The motor and servo in here might be subject to change. I don't know, because there were things that I pulled out of other trucks, and I might get this thing its own system here soon. So the steering servo, as I'm sure you can hear screaming, is the Savix. It's just a 1230 SG. Nothing real crazy, but good amount of torque, something worth throwing in a truck like this. And then for the brushless system, we've got a Hobbywing axe system, and this one is the 2800 kV. Now, I was really concerned that we were gonna have issues with being too much kV and having way too much wheel speed and it not being able to crawl, but this truck has really great gearing. So, I've been very impressed. Come on, truck. Been very impressed with the low gearing in this thing, and it's doing great. Even with higher kV systems, you still be able to crawl, and of course you got that nice punch once you need it. So threw it in a lot of overdrive there, try and get that corner done. Threw it in dig a few times, as you can see. Yeah. Bed cage on this thing is really cool with the bed sides. In future videos I'll probably remove them or whatnot as I go, just for fun. And then yeah, but for this one I just wanted to show this truck in its complete form. I really like the body mounting system that Vanquish came up with here. So it's got a rod in the front, so the whole body will hinge off the nose like a gatekeeper would, but the rod comes out with just one body clip, no tools needed, and then you can remove the whole body. So you can either hinge it to just quickly access something or completely remove it if you're turning wrenches, which is super nice. Big thumbs up, Vanquish. That's awesome. Here we go. For the foams in the tires, I'm running Crawler Innovations dual stage foams. They are my go-to. The Crawler Predator compound tires. I actually would have preferred G8 because I really like G8 out here. It lasts a lot longer, but Predator was all that was in stock, and I definitely I'm not scared to run Predator. That still performs great. They just wear out pretty quick. So expect to see some wear on these tires very quickly. Yeah, this thing's looking good. You guys will have to let me know what you think of it. I guess I also failed to mention the extra electronics that this truck requires. So with the VFD Twin, it requires 2 servos to get full advantage of the options that you have. Like that front overdrive requires 1 servo, and then the rear dig unit requires a servo. But they do utilize full-size servos, which is great. You're gonna get better quality stuff in that size range, more strength and longer lasting. So I do like that they use full-size servos there. Let's see if we can grab extra overdrive here. But what I actually used on that were just affordable Amazon servos, 20 bucks, rated to 8.4 volts. These things are just shifting. You don't need anything real crazy. And I run a pretty good amount of voltage to my servos, so had to make sure they were high voltage. 20 bucks, man. I mean, you could spend $400 on shifting servos if you wanted. I spent 40 bucks. We'll see how they last. I'm a firm believer that you get what you pay for with servos though. Once you put high-end steering servos in your trucks, you'll find that you'll stop buying as many servos because they just last way longer. But for a duty like shifting, I think that these should suffice. Getting a little wild here. Lifting front tire pretty hard. This is a tough line. I don't think I'm gonna get this one today. So one thing I do want to mention is I feel like with the VFD Twin, the chassis of this truck ends up pretty dang heavy. So that's a little bit of a downside there. And then the wheels that I bought for this thing are incredibly light, like amazingly light. So I need to add some wheel weights or something, maybe some brass weights on the axles, but nothing's currently available because I just got this thing 3 days ago and I ordered it on the release date. So hopefully in the future, which I'm certain there will be, some weights for these Portal axles because they're brand new. Just got to give the aftermarket some time. But yeah, I think the truck's pretty heavy up top, so you're gonna need to counterbalance that with a bit of weight down low. And with these really lightweight wheels and tires, it likes to pick stuff up off the ground pretty easy here. See if the dig will get us through here. So far this dig's been working great, like just grabbing and locking when we need it, and then unlocking when we want it to. I think we'll save the scratch on that one today. So I'll show you guys this thing ripping around a little faster. So that's full speed of my 2800 kV system. I think I'm using an 11 tooth pinion because like I said, I was a little concerned it was gonna be fast, so I geared it down. I think in the kit they include a 15 tooth pinion, so a little bit more than I usually like. I love the slow wheel speed stuff, guys. You guys know this by now. Come on. Oh. Oh, just about flew off that edge. So if you guys want to learn more about this Vanquish Phoenix, a great place to do it is actually on Facebook in the groups. There is a Vanquish VS4-10 page, and it's just been full of Vanquish Phoenix content lately. I've posted up a few pictures of my build along the way and had a great response with how the truck turned out. So thanks everybody over there for the kind comments. Same thing with Instagram. Throwing pictures up on my story, as well as a post of it being unofficially done, which at this point it's officially done. Again, tons of great feedback, so thank you guys very much. If you want to follow me over on Instagram, it is West Desert Wheeler. No underscores, no spaces, nothing like that. Just West Desert Wheeler. I'm gonna leave links down below for this truck where you can pick one up. It is an affiliate link to A-Main Hobbies. A-Main's awesome, those guys ship really quick and I've always liked their service. So if you don't have a local hobby shop to go grab one of these, pick one up at A-Main and it will help support me here on the channel. But you guys hear me talk about Sky RC all the time. They're my local hobby shop and I actually go through Sky RC for most of my dealings with the RC industry just because I want to help keep him supported and make sure he's around for when I need the things that I do. Well guys, it's starting to get dark where I'm at. I'm gonna go ahead and use the rest of this daylight to just enjoy driving this truck and go ahead and shut the video down here. I really appreciate you guys watching this. Hope you learned something about the Vanquish Phoenix. I'm gonna be pushing it harder in future videos. Maybe talk about some of the upgrades I might go through to put this truck on some harder obstacles. Gonna be a good time, but for now, that's gonna be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Drop a comment down below what you think, and we will see you guys in the next one. Keep the rubber side down.